Let's get it.
Hey.
Hey.
Chase on the beat.
Hey. Ride with the heat.
It's not a podcast, it's a conversation. Might get heated, might start debating. It's not a podcast, it's a conversation.
What?
Might be educating. It's not a podcast, it's a conversation.
Woo!
Hope you relating. It's not a podcast. That's all I got.
What's up? What's up? What's up? Good afternoon. You know, we here. It's Chase Bands. Y'all know what the deal is. It's not a podcast. It's a conversation. I have my co-star here.
Robbie, what's goody?
Yup. Okay. So today our topic is unhealthy relationships, and so I think we should start by defining what constitutes an unhealthy relationship. Like, what is an unhealthy relationship?
But hold on, to clarify things, we're speaking on unhealthy romantic relationships because a lot of relationships can be unhealthy, but we're focused on the romantic ones today.
Very true, very true. So whether it's with your spouse, partner, etc., that's what we're going to be focusing on. So we're talking about unhealthy relationships romantically. And so I would say that most people are like concerned about why they don't leave, or would I just
So
imply
basically, what today we need to address why people don't leave.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so we'll get to that, but before doing that, I think we need to start off by, letting the people know what is an unhealthy relationship. So in your words, or maybe you experienced it, or maybe you've seen it firsthand with friends or family, what do you think an unhealthy relationship is?
So I personally think an unhealthy relationship is a relationship in which there's not a lot of trust going on. There is a lot of, arguing is healthy, but unnecessary arguing. If you're doing more arguing than actually loving and respecting, understanding each other.
Communicating, yeah.
Yeah, communication is absolutely key. If you're not doing that 100%, or you don't understand someone's love language, like maybe someone's a physical type of person, they need affirmation and affection physically, where other people maybe need it through words or gifts or something like that. So maybe if you're not on the same page there, but yeah, it could all boil down to a number of things. Maybe mental health, someone's not mentally fit to be in a relationship at this moment in time. But yeah, there's a lot of different aspects that could classify as an unhealthy relationship.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on all of that. So being that I do feel the same way, I think we should, discuss like what it takes to be in an unhealthy relationship. Like, I know that when there's an unhealthy relationship, a lot of people think it's one party, but sometimes it's both parties. So how do you figure out, okay, so is it just me, is it both of us? Like, how do you determine like who's the main cause of this issue?
I think that all starts with a conversation and expressing your needs and wants and how you're feeling about a certain situation, or how they're feeling about a certain situation. And you just need to come to the table and explain what everybody's feeling, because it's really hard to look at yourself in the mirror and be like, oh, I'm the toxic one, I'm the one with the issues, because it's so much easier to find blame and issues in other people. So of course that's what you're going to start off doing, but to really break down and get to the root of the problem, you have to not only look at the other person's flaws, but look at your own flaws and be like, okay, I understand that I don't do this, this, and this maybe, and maybe this is what's upsetting them, and so this is why they're not doing this, this, and this. So I think that is one of the number one causes of how people can't, like when you're in a toxic relationship, they don't understand that they might be toxic as well as the other person. And so that's where I feel a lot of problems stem from.
Yeah. I also think it's like a character thing. So it could be two people, they know each other for a long time. And it's like sometimes you get delusional. Like you see things happening and you're like, oh, this is the first time it happens. Like, for example, cheating. So cheating can create an unhealthy relationship, but somebody could cheat once and then y'all break up, but then y'all get back together, and out of nowhere there's like this lack of trust. You get paranoid, you start going through their phone, you start feeling like start feeling insecure and start lacking self love. So I think when it comes to cheating and like giving people second chances, that can sometimes create an unhealthy relationship and keep it there. And being that and I think that makes it unhealthy on both parties because of course cheater, that's bad for them anyways. But the person that took them back, is unhealthy for them because they gave them that second chance and they thought they could trust that person again, but now they're all paranoid, and that's making them, I guess a little crazy and yelling and fussing and starting arguments that may be unnecessary.
And I feel like it all centers around trust and communication, really. And those are probably two of the biggest issues within relationships that probably don't go well. One of the parties is not trusting each other entirely, or there's not enough communication going on to understand, like, oh, I'm feeling this way, like, can you do this to maybe help me out, or I understand you're feeling this way, I might can do this to help you out, etc. And so yeah, but to get on to why people don't leave relationships, like toxic relationships, there's a lot of instances where maybe you are dependent on that person, like you don't have your own money, car, etc., house. You might have to stay in that situation because you're not financially stable, or you need them for something. But there are multiple situations in where someone's financially stable, they have their own car, house, bank account, money, job, all this, but they still stay in this unhealthy relationship. And I feel like that's the root of what we want to talk about today. And so I think my perspective on that is that either they are excuse me, brainwashed or kind of blinded by the previous love that they had for the person, or that maybe, I don't know, it could also be a physical thing. Maybe the sex that good, you just don't know. It could be that bomb, we don't know. And there's so many things that it could be, and it's hard to pinpoint one. But I guess what I would mainly say is that it's probably dealing with your feelings blinding you from seeing the reality of the truth, and you thinking that they might change, or like you have a conversation with them and then they seem like they're gonna change, or they do one thing every once in a while that's like, oh yeah, that's the person I used to know. So you give them a little more leeway, and then you're like, they start going back to what they were doing because they know they have you. And yeah, I feel like that is probably the basis of why people don't leave.
Yeah. And just to piggyback off that, I mean, sometimes the sex is too good, but it ain't that deep, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, to piggyback off that, I also think that it's like a self-love type of thing. So there's people that could have power over you in a relationship just by, degrading you and making you feel useless. And being that you don't love yourself, you don't have that strength to leave and get out of that relationship. So I think not having self-love is like one of the main reasons people stay in unhealthy relationships, because they have someone just telling them that, especially if they didn't experience love, growing up. Maybe they didn't have a father or a mother to, nourish them properly. So now they have someone in their life just telling them that nobody's going to ever love you. I do this and that for you. Just like feeding stuff, to them, making them feel, more insecure than what they already are. Making them feel like nobody loves them and nobody ever will. So I think self-love plays a big role in why people don't leave unhealthy relationships, and also being afraid of growth.
Okay. Also, so basically, we've given our side of why we think it might be that, but let's talk about some ideas that people could maybe do, or things they could do to maybe help get themselves out of unhealthy relationships, maybe help them progress from maybe their lack of self-love or their blindness of the relationship that was in the past, and help them escape this toxic relationship. So I think what you need to do as number one, yeah, as Rob said, is self-love. Like, you will always be looking for something, you always be searching for something if you don't love yourself first. So you really have to love yourself and be happy with yourself. Like, be able to live by yourself, be able to just do things by yourself, maybe if it's activities, hobbies you enjoy. If you really can't do anything by yourself, then there's just something that's always going to be missing, because there's going to be times where people aren't around. There's going to be times where maybe your friends bailed on you. They're not as real as you thought they were, and so you really just need to be secure within yourself and love yourself. I mean, everybody has improvements to make, but self-love is definitely a step that everybody has to take before they can decide, like, or before they can even, I think, should be in a relationship.
Yeah. Like Ari Lennox says, self-love is the best love.
There you go. There you go. Whoever that is. Yeah.
Dreamville, Chase. Dreamville.
Shoot, you know how I am on music, dog. Behind and slow.
And also, like I said earlier, people are afraid of growth, afraid of change. They get too comfortable in these unhealthy relationships. They're like comfortable with their partner. So I think, being able to, like not being afraid to grow and take a risk and do something different, follow your dreams, do something that makes you happy, and get out of that unhealthy relationship. And also, the people that are the main cause of the unhealthy relationship, y'all just need to go get help. You know what I'm saying? Not playing, but what would you have to say for those who are like the main, cause of it?
I mean, it all is. The problem is that if someone is so stuck in their own ways and they don't want to acknowledge that they could be the toxic one, then unfortunately it's going to fall on the other person to realize, okay, I have to get out of this, because they're not going to change. I don't think they can see what everybody else around them sees. So it's going to be your responsibility to protect yourself and like your mental health, your like whatever, and get out of that relationship. And as sad as it to say, you would hope that people would want to maybe like try to better themselves. You would hope everybody wants to better themselves, realize like, because everybody has their own toxic traits. Everybody has their own problems, and you would hope they would want to realize like, oh, this is because of me. Maybe I need to change if I want X, Y, and Z in the future. So, but I think some tips or. Yeah, therapy's great. Therapy's actually really good. But I think like the top 3 or 4 things that someone needs to do in order to like help start the leaving process for a toxic relationship is definitely 1, self-love and self-reflection. 2, try to open the conversation. Maybe they might be open to changing, but if not, open the conversation and let them know like, I can't do this anymore, and you really need to be stuck and strong in your ways and not allow them to convince you like, oh no, I'm gonna change, or like, hold on, like, you don't want to do this. Like, you need to understand like you've been in this cycle before and they're clearly not gonna change, so you need to stick to your guns and get out. I think that's 1 and 2. 3, you need a good support system behind you, because it can be tough to leave somebody that you initially loved at the beginning, and love is such a strong and powerful feeling that you will do dumb stuff when you are in love, and it's going to be tough, and other people from the outside can see it and help convince you. And so that's why you're going to want that good support system. Maybe it's family, friends that really care about you and want to see the best for you and try to help you through this tough time. And then lastly, you want to make sure that if there are any like physical or abusive things going on, you let somebody know.
Oh, definitely.
Because that's probably one of the things that people don't talk about enough, like physical abuse and whatnot in toxic relationships. And they wait all the way until the end, where in the beginning, if they were to have said something, maybe it could have changed the dynamic. There wouldn't have been as much damage done, and it could be better overall in the end. So, yeah. You have any more tips?
So, boom, speaking of abuse, the National Domestic Violence Hotline number, 1-800-799-7233.
Yep.
So, I mean, if it's more than unhealthy and it's abusive, just dial that number. And have you ever been in an unhealthy relationship? Just let the people know.
Unhealthy? Yeah, absolutely. You know, let's see, 10th grade.
Dude, anything after high school did not count. Well, before high school did not count.
Okay, then no.
But if you feel like it was that strong,
I mean, she said that she had brain cancer in order to break up. I feel like that's pretty bad, or some type of something. You let us know, but I feel like that's something. And then I saw her a couple months later at school, dog, and I said, "Wow, that's crazy." But
So basically, she pretended she had this issue and that she was about to die just to break up with you.
yeah, but throughout the relationship, it would always be like I feel like she did need some type of uh mental counseling or mental health, like a mental health professional to help her, because it'll always be like, yeah, I'm not good enough for you, yada yada. And even though I would do all this convincing, it would take a mental toll on me. Like, oh well, like I'm trying my best. Is it maybe me? Maybe is it something? But like those people are always gonna want to, or like people that like are like, oh, I'm gonna commit suicide. I'm not saying always take that threat serious, but people will use that to be like, oh, stay here with me, or like, don't leave me. Like, I'll kill myself if you do. And so that's also something you need to be wary of and probably contact the authorities on, because they will be able to help you as well as you can then get out and hopefully ensure that they'll still be safe and alive, even though you did need to get out of that situation. But yeah, like it was kind of a situation like that where like I was kind of mentally taken advantage of, and then in the end it was just like, I mean, overall you could have just told me that you just wanted to break up, you want the relationship to end, but like to go through all this trouble talking about you had brain cancer, you got 2 months to live, like that's crazy, dog.
So you was the victim, huh?
I mean, I was the victim in that sense, and in other senses, I would have to do more self reflection, but I can't sit here and say that I probably never was the problem. So yeah, it all is on self reflection, and you really need to look at yourself and be like, okay, what are my toxic traits, and then how can I improve and not make these as bearable as possible? Because I don't firmly believe everybody will get rid of all their toxic traits. It's just you want to always work on yourself and be the best version of yourself you can be. So
yeah, that's great. But again, that domestic violence number 1-800-799-7233.
yeah,
If it's more than an unhealthy relationship, a little abuse involved, make sure you call that number. That's the domestic violence hotline.
mm-hmm.
And this is not a podcast. This is a conversation.
We appreciate y'all for listening. Give us any feedback or any more topics you would like to listen to within the next coming weeks, and we'll be sure to read through those and get back to you on that. Appreciate you. Chase Bands out, and yeah, we'll see y'all next time.
Yep. Make sure you like the video, share, subscribe.
Yeah.
Follow us on social media, maybe.
Possibly, shoot.
We should make an Instagram page.
We should.
Anyways.
Yeah, we out. Okay.
Test it.
Ain't even on, dog.
Bro, it is.
This
Oh. It is on. Introduction, sir? Come on.
Oh.
This is our first podcast, and then here we are with the bullshit. What? All right, we better.
Now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is not really the introduction, Chase. No.
We didn't establish an
You're
intro.
not gonna say you're the
Okay, so
good
what's the
morning,
intro?
good evening, something.
Alright, okay, alright.
You know what? Do you be your authentic self?
Okay. Well, you're right. We're gonna come in with a little professional.
All right. First and foremost, Chase. I'm gonna edit out a lot of this, but it's a conversation. So we're not asking questions literally. This is just what they want to know. So we have to utilize it as a conversation between you and I while answering questions. Not saying this is what they want to know.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I feel you. Times like this to shine like
All
this with a matter of
Let's get it.
skitty. You ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hey.
Chase on the beat.
Hey. Rob with the heat.
It's not a podcast. It's a conversation. Might get heated. Might start debate. Run it back.